helping others help others. It's about educating, not just giving people the opportunity to help and serve, but teach them how to do it on their own.
Glad to have you. I'm Carter Simoneaux, host of AcadianaCasts Presents. Today's episode is brought to you by Love of People nonprofit. You can go to loveofpeople.org to start helping others help others today. And you might be asking, what does Love of People do, Carter? Well, you know, this is not going to be a traditional ad. We're going to just talk all about Love of People, their initiatives, with their executive director, one of my good friends, John Williams, joining us today. John, I know you don't always like being on the soapbox and talking about things, but we've done a lot with Love of People this past calendar year, and shoot, you have the past 11, 12 years, however long it's been going on. Real quick, just let folks know, what is Love of People on a service level?
A nonprofit organization that my dad actually started in 1993, and it was just designed to really show love and support to the community. Not only the people who receive, but the people who wanted to give. It was helping others help others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that is our slogan. What does that mean? Helping others help others. Help others help others.
So when you look at the way that Love of People is actually filed with the state and everything, it says on there, Love of People Clinic, Inc. My dad's a pharmacist, and clinic, he always looked at it as, you know, I want to help the community, but I want to teach people, like AKA put on a clinic of how to show people how you can connect with the community and truly impact the place that you live. So helping others help others, it's about educating, not just giving people the opportunity to help and serve, but teach them how to do it on their own.
Well, Love of People has all these different initiatives that you kind of do just that through, and we're kind of go through some of these initiatives that we've done throughout this past year that have become staples of Love of People. And, you know, when your dad started it, and then I guess for a while there was kind of nothing, you kind of brought it back after you started your career, and slowly but surely each kind of initiative started growing. Other initiatives were added, more and more businesses and community leaders got involved, and now it's just this kind of beautiful thing that just has a bunch of momentum.
Yeah, it's like a ecosystem now at this point. You know, some of the initiatives that have grown so much, you know, part of my journey is learning how to let go and let other people take ownership and love it just as much as I love it. And I'm at a point now where I can enjoy kind of the things that I've helped create, but most importantly, I'm able to enjoy it with my two sons, teaching them that next generation how to take this torch and keep it going.
Yeah, and before we kind of get right into that, just a little quick backstory of how we got acquainted. I used to work for the news here in Lafayette, and I was tasked with doing a story. We were helping you guys promote a Blue Monday jam, or I assume it was just one of the jams, or one of the themed jams.
I think it was just one of the jams. You'd come to Bubbles and Blues that we did at the end of the year. I think it was the second one we had done, and from that we got the story that you came and produced here at the office. And it's just been beautiful ever since.
Yeah, and we don't have to, because we're going to argue for 10 minutes about
it. You cried.
You cried. I made you cry. And then after that, you're like, you should come work here because you made me cry. So I started working for...
It's your show. I yield.
You're damn right. I could just edit.
You can edit that
I
out.
can edit your audio out and just put my voice under you like, yes, Carter, I cried.
You're correct.
There's the clip. But, you know, I was looking to get out of the news at the time, and I really wanted to get into podcasting, and I didn't know if I wanted to create my own thing, or I was like, you know, I don't think we had the market here to just go all in on one show. I've got some different thoughts on that now after seeing some of the way that the landscape works in this TikTok world. But I wanted to create a business, and you have a business developer kind of background. You've done a lot of that in your world, and so you allowed me to come work for Love of People while helping me start AcadianaCasts, and at a kind of a snail's pace, what I was comfortable doing until, you know, certain things aligned. And then now I still help with a lot of Love of People stuff, but you are a big part of AcadianaCasts and where we're at today. And it's been really cool to see a lot of these initiatives. Some of them I've seen them come to fruition for the first time. Some of them I've seen just expand and grow, and others that haven't really necessarily grown, but have kind of shifted. But the impact, to be able to see that and be able to talk about that and highlight that has been a true joy in my life the past few years.
Well, to answer your question from earlier about what does it mean for helping others help others, like you just described it from your own personal experience. You came over to work with me, yes, and I was there to help you build your business. And in return, without us even knowing it, you continue to help. After you stopped working for Love of People, you stayed on to help us continue to grow our mission, connect to the community, and that was your way of giving back. So, dude, I appreciate everything you've done thus far. I can't wait for us to keep on growing this thing.
Yeah, and vice versa. We're going to go yell at Kevin to.
You got to go somewhere else.
I wonder if you can even hear that. But there's a cast of characters that are always around here.
Uncle Kev.
Uncle Kev. And I love people without Uncle Kev. Now, let's talk about some of these initiatives, highlight them. This is, you want this to kind of be Love of People's 2024 year in recap. And so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to recap the initiatives that we did and kind of talk about where they came from and where they're going and who's involved in all of these initiatives, because so much of them, like you said, like you've had to learn how to let go of the rope, delegate, and let other people come into this world that you've created and help grow it with you.
Yeah. I mean, for anybody out there that's working in the nonprofit arena and or even a for-profit business, as an entrepreneur or developer, you have to get to a point where I say now, get out of your way. You can't grow something really exponentially if you're thinking that you're going to choke it to death and try to do it just the way you want to do it. You have to open yourself up to other people's opinions and most of all, other people's criticism, and be strong enough to take it and then develop it and keep moving forward. And that's what we've done.
Absolutely. Now, we talked slightly about it, but how we met, but Blue Monday. The Blue Monday mission, it goes on throughout the year. Tell folks what exactly the Blue Monday mission is.
It started from the beginning. It was designed to increase quality of life for aging musicians and artists. Most musicians, service industry workers, they work for a cash business. They're not paying into 401ks. Very few of them have health insurance. And here in Louisiana, specifically Acadiana, we're built off of our music and our food. And when Sammy Parbu started identifying some of these older musicians who didn't have a savings for various reasons, didn't have much access to service for various reasons, I wanted to utilize Blue Monday Jam, which was every second Monday of the month, to help highlight and educate the community on the need of the people that created the culture. Here, as everybody knows, throughout Acadiana, you talk about Lafayette, first things out of your mouth is music, food, fun, and everything like that. But whenever you find some of these older musicians living in situations where we could do better, not even to get into the details of it, but I think that if majority of the public knew the reality of what it takes and the sacrifice it takes to create this culture that we love, if they truly knew on the back end how they end up retiring and then dying, they wouldn't have that problem paying the $20 at the door or tipping the bucket, And that's what Blue Monday Jam, really the intention of it. It was to bring these people together, bring the community together, especially that retired community, let them see the people they grew up listening to. And what was beautiful about that monthly jam is that very quickly the younger musicians started coming. So I was able to recognize and see the benefit of connecting the younger musician with the old musician. And it wasn't so much for the music. It was so that the older musician could share and start the conversation with the younger one about how they could avoid pitfalls moving forward in their career. Be more aware of saving. Be more aware of starting an LLC and treating yourself like an actual business. And collaborate with one another, Besides the impact that we've had on the older musicians, another beautiful piece of Blue Monday Mission was seeing how the impact on the younger musician really took fire. I see collaborations now that I know came from Blue Monday, and it's a very special thing for me to watch.
Yeah, no, I always find it funny. Like, well, I'll go out with some friends or something, then I'll see like a Ray Boudreaux or a Miles Meagle, and they got Lee Allen Zeno playing with them.
Hey, in Lee Allen's defense, especially Ray and Lee,
yeah,
that was a relationship that was there before me. Lee Allen Zeno, Cal Fran would tell me, Lee, he liked peanut butter. He liked to spread himself thin. And I say that lovingly because Lee Allen is very prolific. He's played with a lot of these younger cats. Ray Boudreaux, he was on Ray's first album. He had played with Mark Broussard already. Hunter Romero, which was, and the love and affection that these guys have for Lee Allen, it was intoxicating to see. I mean, the respect they have, because the quality of musician he is, really. You just got to shut up there and appreciate that he's there.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Lee Allen is kind of the band leader of the Blue Monday All-Stars, which is essentially the house band for these Blue Monday jams and some of these other events that Blue Monday is kind of associated with. Tell folks just a little bit about the Blue Monday All-Stars and what that powerhouse.
I mean, it's exactly that. It's a powerhouse band, Grammy Award winners, Louisiana Hall of Famers, Steve Adams, Lee Allen Zeno, Tony Gula, and then we bring in a lot of different surprise guests over the years. I mean, we've had Kenny Neal. I don't even want to. Anthony Dupsy is somebody we love. Sir Reg. We've had so many people that step in and play, and the dynamic in the beginning was with Lee, because truthfully, my biggest blessing in Blue Monday was sitting down with like Warren Storm, Little Buck, Cal Fran, Lee Allen Zeno, Steve Adams. These cats gave me the game when it comes to the music industry. I'm not going to say the music business because there's not much business in this thing, but the music industry. And they taught me very early on how to recognize things, because not everybody's out for themselves, really, which was another beautiful component of Blue Monday, because I feel it brought people together very intentionally. But in the beginning, Sammy was concerned about musicians coming, historically, and I'm not trying to be rude, but historically, creatives can have a little bit of an ego in things.
No.
Right? Like, since when? But when I tell you, when Lee Allen's sitting on that stage, I don't care who walks through the door. They go and tap Lee Allen on the shoulder first. Hey, so can I play today? and so Lee Allen just commanded that respect, and it kept the flow on the stage very clean. Were there some people that felt slighted because they didn't get up and play that time? Yes. But like Lil Buck said, you can start whenever you want to start, but if it says it ends at 9, end it at 9 and leave them wanting more. So we had a very controlled jam. We weren't going till 10, 11 o'clock. We do it on a Monday, and you got more than what you came here for, because you never knew who was showing up. And for those musicians who maybe didn't get on, we had developed a contact system for after, let me know, and we'll make sure that we invite you the next time, and then even highlight you, and then jam with you. You know?
Sometimes even they show up the week before or 2 weeks before in this room to practice.
Yeah,
and then they can plug in a couple of songs and be ready to absolutely jam.
Yeah, I mean at one point we were curating shows. Yeah, I mean by year 3. End of year 2, year 3. I mean it was a hell of a lot more than a jam. I mean, we were doing like country rhythm and Blue Monday. We did collaborative shows with the symphony in town. It was just, the collaborations were off the charts, man. It was beautiful.
But this year has kind of gotten back to more of its roots, and when it comes to the Blue Monday Jam. And I know we were messing with the potential to maybe make it quarterly, then back to the monthly. Where did things kind of end up by here, at the end of 2024, and looking forward to 2025? What can folks expect from a Blue Monday Jam, which is kind of the heart and soul of the Blue Monday mission?
Amen. So, Blue Monday was seriously impacted by COVID, of course. And, with the brand of my private company and the mission of Blue Monday, I mean, I take care of old people. So there was no way that I could be out there claiming I take care of old people and like pushing for, hey, let's play, you know. So Blue Monday mission didn't go away during COVID. We fed with the help of Gerald and a few other people. We fed a lot of people throughout COVID, and we helped a lot. But then coming out of COVID, we'd been away from the Blue Monday Jam monthly for so long that I was almost intimidated to get back into it, you know, because I'd feel that time gap with so many other things, you know, hence new projects that came out. So I said, okay, let's do it quarterly. The board of directors said, we're going to do this quarterly, decrease the expenses, let's go, you know, focus more on the mission, raise the money so we can actually start impacting, you know, even the younger musicians again. And after the first one we did, the band comes in the back in the kitchen. I'm cleaning the kitchen in the back at Grouse Room. And they said, Steve, I can still hear Steve's voice. Oh, no, man, we got to get back to monthly on this. And that was a fact, Jack. Like the crowd that came, and I think it was like a rainstorm, even a tornado ripped down Jefferson.
Some big weather event in like May, April.
It was crazy. And we still had like 40, 50 people on a Monday in Grouse Room.
Yeah.
So
they couldn't go anywhere.
We locked in. And what was great, like the show started at 6, and like at 6:10 was when that like tornado came down Jefferson. And then it ends at 8 or 9. It ends at 9, let's say, and like the rain stopped at like 8:57. Yeah. So it was great. Like it was just a great experience. But that goes to show, you know, I always say Blue Monday miracles. But so we immediately went back to monthly. We're gonna continue to host Blue Monday Jam at Grouse Room every second Monday of the month. But to your question earlier about how we're making that happen, I got to give props to Ray Flores with Industrial Safety Solutions, because when the guys told me we got to go back to monthly, you know, keep in mind, the monthly jam, we talking about like health insurance for people. We talking about transportation for people. A jam won't necessarily bring in the money that we need to really impact. Mm-hmm. I use the monthly jam to highlight the need. And then in between that time, we communicate with business owners and supporters and sponsors to help bring in the funds that we need to truly impact the need. So the monthly thing was intimidating for me because I knew I'd have to go back to, you know, pretty much paying for it. But it was the second Blue Monday we did coming back, and Ray Flores was sitting in the front. And I said, hey, man, I said, as long as Ray willing to help sponsor this thing every month, we going back to monthly. And so much props to Ray Flores because he did it. Mm-hmm. He ended up for it, and he's been sponsoring us every month to at least eliminate the expenses of what we have to throw the event for. Big props to Matt Chasson for really working with us and being a great venue to host this at, because his heart and love for the culture is off the charts, and the hospitality that he's showing, love of people, and the Blue Monday mission at Grouse Room, it's humbling. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited about being back monthly.
Yeah, and with Ray, he also has something he started, Pink Trailer Productions, which was, you know, partly inspired by what you've done with Blue Monday. And with Pink Trailer, he's been able to bring some of these younger artists that he's cultivating and plugging and playing them with our older musicians, kind of back to that art of business thing that you were kind of alluding to. I don't think you said art of business, but the younger musicians and giving them the game so they don't make the same mistakes or go through the same trials and tribulations that the older musicians went through.
Yep.
So he's been a great source for that, and also to echo with Matt Chasson, owner of Grouse Room. Excited that we kind of have like a home base now, kind of locked in going into 2025. Like you said, Blue Monday is the second Monday of every month. It's the only Facebook page for an event or an initiative that we have that's just for the initiative. We have our Love of People content page, but we also have one just for Blue Monday. So make sure you guys go follow that, keep up to date when all these concerts are, even though we just told you that the second Monday of every month. But if you haven't seen it, it's I know it's, you know, the idea of going out on a Monday it's maybe not that appealing. Kind of trying to get your week going right.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I said from day one, when I went to Gus and I'm telling them, hey, we're gonna do a monthly jam every second Monday of the month at JSP, and I'm saying that to Gus, and he's like, John, nobody goes out on a Monday. I'm like, I'm going after retired folks. Every day is Saturday. That's my audience. You know, I wanted older people in the community to be able to come downtown, enjoy a lovely venue, you know, at a time of day where it's nice and safe, parking is available, everything's shut down on Monday. You can park anywhere. You know, it was designed for these older people, man. I love old people, so that's what I'm about.
Yeah, I like the idea though that as we continue growing, some of this get the attention of some of these younger audiences, more people, kind of millennial age, to kind of beat the drum and bring some excitement into this. And so, but to your point, yeah, it's great seeing some of the faces of the retired folks who come out and they look they're all dressed up,
dressed to the nines, you know, the way old people do it. They do it right. To the point of these young, you know, incorporating the younger kids, man, I'm enjoying. Tyler Show Kid Wilson is one of those great resources for us. We have a video of him dancing with Carol Fran years ago, and he's a hip hop break all around dancer. And again, what Blue Monday has done is really, when you walk into a room where Blue Monday is playing, I mean, you see old, young, black, white, Asian, Laotian. It's just it's what make Acadiana special in one room.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been cool to see the Blue Monday All-Stars play on stages like at Festival International. You go up and you kind of give your spiel about what Blue Monday is, how this whole thing got started. You're holding court in front of all these people at Festival.
Right. It was the year that we opened for Festival International, and I had we did a tribute, living legend tribute. And we, you know, Cal Fran got a special award. Lil Buck was up there. Oh, man, that was a show. And I had Julian on my hip. And like you say, holding court, sometimes I say talking shit. But, I mean, really giving it. And what was so cool about that moment, one, I've never been in front of that many people in my life. But the way the lights work, you can't really see out in the crowd, like how far it goes. You can just see, like, the first maybe 10 rows. And when I looked down at the first 10 rows, it was like everybody that comes to Blue Monday. It was literally like I felt like I was in a Blue Monday room. I can remember seeing like Jerry Prejean's face, Pat Tron. It was the faces that I see once a month, and they were standing all right there in the front of the stage, big smiling. It was amazing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, guys, go check out a Blue Monday Jam at the Grouse Room every second Monday of the month in 2025. Going to be bigger and better. Music's also fantastic. Some of the best music you're going to hear in South Louisiana, in the state, in the world. Let's move on to Fight Fest. Now, this is a new initiative as of 2024. We launched it this year. It is love of people's fight against Parkinson's and dementia, supporting Rocksteady Boxing, Acadiana, and Bell's Tower. We're going to get into all of that, John. But first, just tell folks, what is Fight Fest? I kind of just said it's a fight against Parkinson's dementia, but what is the event? What's the initiative?
Fight Fest is one of those examples of how helping others help others and how things just grow. Roddy Oquin and Carrie Hoffpower, they started a business, Rise Physical Therapy, a few years ago. I'd kind of talked to Roddy on and off about, you know, going and being an entrepreneur. And prior to that, Roddy would come to like our community Thanksgiving, our community Christmas gumbo, and she would bring her kids, you know, even till today, she's like, we raised our kids in love of people. And I hear that loud and clear, you know. So Roddy and I had this relationship through service that we kept growing that relationship. It carried over a little in the business, but we never really left love of people together, you know. So Roddy, a few years ago, they invested in Rocksteady Boxing, which is a non-contact boxing class for people diagnosed with Parkinson's. And, you know, you've done a few stories on it.
Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click this link. You can go right and watch that kind of explanation story about Rocksteady Boxing Acadiana.
It's a beautiful thing. I've been able to witness, you know, transformations in people's lives because of Rocksteady Boxing. So the funny story with that is Roddy came to me. She's telling me, you know, because she started picking my brain about nonprofit world, and she's telling me what she's doing, and I'm like, Roddy, we have something very similar. with this rock steady boxing thing. And I said, why don't you just put this under love of people? And she says, she's like, well, we're going to see about, we'll talk about it, but we're going to start a nonprofit. I'm like, okay, it's kind of a hard thing to do. And then she was like, well, who helped you start yours? And I was going to kill him, but Winky is what we call him. And he's a lawyer from Ville Platte. And Oquin is his last name, Mr. Oquin. And so I'm never putting this together. So Roddy looks up Mr. Winky, talks to him about starting a nonprofit, and Mr. Winky tells her, you need to go talk to John Williams. He has love of people. Long story short, it turned out that Winky is Roddy's father-in-law, who he helped me start Love of People. She goes to start one, and he said, got to go talk to John. So again, that's just how, God works. It puts people together, the ones that need to be together, continue to impact the community. So to get to the point, Roddy started Rocksteady Boxing. At the same time, I had an initiative going for people with dementia, which is Bell's Tower, and it's named after Ida Bell Pesson, who was one of my original 3 clients when I started QLS 12 years ago. Not that she had dementia or anything, but Miss Ida Bell Pesson was known in the community of Broussard as that person that just showed up to your house when you had a loved one that was sick or dying, and she would just show up and pray with you and love on you. I knew her as a very strong, opinionated woman who helped her. She was the youngest sibling of 7, and she was the only girl. She had like 6 older brothers. She helped them all run their businesses. She was just a very strong foundation of a woman, is what I can say. So whenever it came to me to create a day space for people with dementia and their loved ones, I knew that it was called Bell's Tower after Ida Bell Pesson. So Love of People's Fight Fest is our fight against Parkinson's and dementia. You can go to loveofpeople.org to find out more details about each, and also bellstower.com to find out more details. We are planning on opening by March of 25. And, just the angels that came in to help me with this project. This was a house, an old house that I found. And years ago when I walked in and my foot hit the wood floor and it creaked, all of a sudden I could smell my grandmother's, frying chicken, seriously, baking a cake, smoking a cigarette, listening to her records. I immediately was transported back to when I was a kid. And the house is like 90 years old, so we kept the same facade in the house. I knew that this would be for people with dementia because what a comfortable environment. Tony Davern helped me build what we call a memory care garden in the back, which is designed to help decrease anxiety and stress for people with dementia. Darren Domain changed my roof. I want to say for free, but I don't want to put him out like that. But it was for free.
Thanks, Lafayette Roofing.
Thank you. It's just, the people that have gotten involved with our Fight Fest to make these resources happen for people. Dementia and Parkinson's are neurological diseases that really suck, for lack of a better way to explain it.
Yeah.
However, my goal, Roddy's goal, Carrie's goal, her team over there at Rise Physical Therapy, if we can do anything to increase the quality of life in people that experience these diseases, then we're going to do it. And that's what Rocksteady Boxing represents. That is what Bell's Tower represents. So what our Fight Fest is, it goes throughout the year. You can go online and you can donate to Rocksteady or Bell's Tower. And what you're doing is to help pay for either boxing sessions for the Rocksteady Boxer or memberships for Bell's Tower. And I can assure you that that money goes straight to people, giving them access to these resources. And I'm just blessed to be part of being able to develop these assets, these resources.
Yeah, I've been able to interview some of these folks at Rocksteady Boxing and hear some of the stories of people walking in there with a walker, and then several months later they're not even needing a cane, just due to some of this acute movement. It's scientifically very fascinating how that works. And then from the Bell's Tower side of things, though the day space isn't ready quite yet, we've been doing some of these things like music therapy. I've gone and played for a client of yours who has dementia, and you can just see her face light up whenever I play certain songs. She's verbal. Granted, it's only a couple of words that she says, but sometimes there's a song and she's able to pull out a couple of words from that, and it's really powerful, and it's a cool thing to see. So being able to help with those resources, improving the quality of life for folks with these neurological diseases. Like you said, it's a year-round thing. We launched it in the beginning of kind of 2024. We did it at Vermilionville. We kind of had just this event with some live music. We had a little fun, but raising money for these boxers and for the day space, and to raise awareness, and what are the plans going forward? We're going to have some more like an event like that. It's like kind of a figurehead event, even though you said it's year round.
Yeah, I think that, when it comes to Fight Fest, again, just like Blue Monday, some of these initiatives that we've chosen to take on in Love of People, there are gaps that need to be filled. Mm-hmm. And, can we get it done with one blowout event in a year? In all honesty, no.
Right.
And so that's what Love of People kind of focuses on. Let's find that most at-risk area, or where that greatest need is, and let's create a mechanism for the community, private business owners, sponsors, donors, grant writing ability, and let's just establish a pipeline to where when people want to impact, like, it shouldn't be once a year.
Yeah.
Because people are dealing with this every day. Right. We cannot expect a nonprofit organization to throw 7 major events in a year while doing monthly event to raise money. We have to create this mechanism in a way that when you feel compelled to engage in, whether it's older musicians, young athletes, or people with Parkinson's or dementia, I want people to know that Love of People is where you need to go to truly connect.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on to the Williams Bros Diaper Drive, formerly Julian's Diaper Drive. We just had our 10th or 9th. It was a 9th annual Williams Brothers Diaper Drive. I should have known. I typed every single graphic. But we had over 4,500 diapers collected this year, 2,700 wipes collected, 700 puppy pads and pet diapers were collected, sent to Acadiana Animal Aid. And this is something that's grown every single year. And this is close to your heart because it involves your sons.
Yeah. My son turned 8. And people, how you do 9? But for the baby shower, we had a co-ed baby shower, and that was epic. There's still so many people that talk about that baby shower, man. We had it at, it's crazy. The first 3 years of my son's life, we had birthday parties for him at places where kids couldn't even go. It was hilarious. But we were collecting diapers for it. I didn't believe in spending $300, $400, $500 on a kid's party who wouldn't remember it. So I wanted to plant a seed. I went to St. Leo Seton growing up, and we would get these mustard seed awards. And what one seed can do, what it can grow, the potential of what it can grow into. Julian's Diaper Drive originally was that seed in my son. Mm-hmm. And so and again, another example of something that just grew way out of control, meaning it grew so large, having 9-10 different companies that serve in collection sites, and then also our channel partner Alan Green, who owns Greenhouse Psychiatry. He fell in love with now Williams Bros Diaper Drive because I had my youngest son, and to witness Alan not only take over the event, but really leading the charge on getting businesses involved, getting his network to donate, and he and his wife go and pick up cases of diapers, but also seeing the connectivity he has with my sons. The old saying, a cliche, it takes a village. That has been one of my biggest blessings in love of people, in that my sons are being imprinted on by people that I just have the utmost admiration and respect for. Mm-hmm. You being one of those people, Ray Flores, again, Todd Citron. But Alan really embodied all of that whenever he just connected to Williams Bros Diaper Drive. So the goal in Williams Bros Diaper Drive is to collect diapers for women's shelters. Thanks to Jill Merkel, she brought in the animal aid and for the adopt a dog type people, mm-hmm. and also rural nursing homes. When you get older, a lot of people who don't have insurance, man. If you never had kids or you never had to put on a Depend before, let me tell you, these packs of diapers for kids and undergarments for adults, these things can cost upwards of $20-$30 a case, and you can go through a case in a week. So that need for this at-risk demographic, it just blew my mind. And for my son, who turned 8 this year, for him to be more excited about how many cases of diapers that we were going to collect versus, hey, Dad, what toy am I getting for my birthday? I just got to sit back and say, hey, I got you. Like it worked, mm-hmm. And his little brother is sitting there watching and following in his footsteps. And a lot of times leading his big brother. I don't know which one's going to take over first. Mm-hmm. But again, it's just to provide true connectivity to our community. And my biggest blessing is that my kids will deliver these diapers each year, and they know what it is.
Yeah, so I was with the boys when we went and dropped off all these collection boxes at all these businesses across Lafayette. They love doing that. Alan was a big help with that as well when we posted a video from that. But we collect for like a month and a half, 2 months, and then we have this kind of distribution day. We keep some to bring to some of these shelters and whatnot privately, but people can come and pick up their diapers through almost like a car line. You got the Hub City Ford
barbecue pit trailer. We do the distribution day on my son's birthday.
Right.
So his birthday party is to distribute these diapers. Mm-hmm. And each year I like to invite my friends. Of course, his friends, a few of his friends come. That way we can cut cake and things. Mm-hmm. And the people we invite, we're like, hey, bring diapers, And Julian's excited about bringing diapers. Now, I love my people like Robin McMillan or Karen Rue. That child's getting a present. I don't get in the way of that. He needs 3, 4, 5 presents. That's fine,
yeah.
But bring a case of diapers as well, or a pack. But I like to invite my friends who have young kids. And you'll see him come, like, Gus Resende will come with his 2 boys, and Gustavo, so many people. But it allows me to share this blessing with others, and that shows the growth and love of people. Where I used to have to break my back and my pocketbook to make these things go. Now I've had so many angels involved that I'm actually able to take a step, even 2 steps back, and really start engaging people on a different level so that I can bring you in and I can share this blessing with you. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not calling people for every event now to say, give me a check. Right. We got people for that now. I'm calling people because I'm like, hey, make sure you bring your kid, or make sure you bring your niece or your nephew, or go get your grandma. Mm-hmm. And again, it's humbling, but I'm so appreciative. I'm just excited.
Yeah, so we do that during the summer, but we do collect diapers and wipes and puppy pads year-round. You can go to loveofpeople.org, get in touch with us that way if you want to make a donation in December, But I'm excited to see what the 10th annual Williams Bros Diaper Drive has in 2020-25.
We can allude to a little bit. So this past year, through working with, and I don't even know how that happened, but Best Stop. We actually extended. Oh, that's what it was. So, my son. So after we finish the diaper drive, then he's able to choose. All right, where do you want to go? do you want to go to the beach, or do you, normally it's the beach, and I'm like, hey, I want a beach trip. But this past year, he's like, I want to go to Nanny Candy house in Texas, and I'm like, what?
What part of Texas?
Oh, Katy, Texas, and I'm like, son, you giving up the beach to go to First of all, it's Nanny Candy. I get it. Nanny Candy is super cool. And we end up in Katy, Texas. And then on the way, I could see my son's face. Like, he realized, wait, if I'm in Katy, Texas, Dad, then I won't be able to do my diaper drive. So for the first 7 years of his life, on his birthday, we would distribute the diapers. This past year, we did it the weekend before, because I always said, once my kids got old enough to tell me what they want and it makes sense for their birthday, then we'll do that. So we did that. We moved the diaper drive up a week, but then I could see that his feelings were hurt that we weren't doing it. So I'm like, Lord, how am I going to fix that? Because we're going to Katy, Texas, and we had already planned the distribution day. It was over with. So I look and I see that Best Stop had opened up a Katy, Texas branch right down the street from Nanny Candy House. So, man, literally made a phone call, and these beautiful people over there allowed me to, for a week, promote that we'd be in Katy, Texas with Best Stop, collecting diapers. I think, we did a few cases. My sister, she lives out there in Texas. She got a bunch of friends to donate. And I guarantee in 2025, you're going to see Julian's Diaper Drive and William Bros Diaper Drive in Texas and New Orleans, because of these people that just connect, man. It was beautiful to see. And for something between Community Christmas Gumbo and my son's Diaper Drive, those are the things that are like deeply rooted in me, that I'm deeply connected to. And for no reason outside of that, those are the things that are growing well outside of Acadiana, and it's just beautiful to see.
Well, moving on, we talk about some of these things, like you kind of tease the Christmas gumbo, which we'll get to last. Kind of these smaller things that are close to your heart, but growing. But let's talk about what just happened, the Mac Daddy Community Thanksgiving.
Lord.
The 11th annual Community Thanksgiving we just had this year successfully fed 5,000 people to the following areas: Opelousas, New Iberia, Youngsville, Sunset, Grand Coteau. We've talked with folks who want to expand it to St. Martin Parish, to Vermilion Parish, and beyond. So this thing has become a life of its own. Just briefly, just tell folks how Community Thanksgiving started, and then what we did this year.
Community Thanksgiving started 11 years ago. I didn't even mean for it to become what it's become, in all honesty. My mom and dad were retired. They needed to get engaged in something, so I went to the store and I bought like 13 turkeys, I think, and the sides, and I started making turkeys and making Thanksgiving dinner. And I ended up with, I think it was like 139, 150 meals. And when I finished, I'm like, what am I going to do with these meals? My mom had gotten diagnosed. She was sick. So she couldn't be around anybody at the time. And I didn't want her just sitting in the house, being sick. So I wanted to make sure that she felt a purpose. And that's why I did Community Thanksgiving for the first year. So I ended up with all these all these meals. And I called Shatero Johnson. She was the mayor of Grand Coteau at the time. And I'm like, hey, Shatero, you know what I can do with these meals? So I meet her. We load the meals up in her trunk. And we just started walking around Grand Coteau and Sunset. And I would literally walk to the person's door, knock, offer them a meal, sit down, have a few words, and then go on to the next one. I've always been on fire for community service. But knowing that I started that as a selfish thing, I didn't want my mom sitting down feeling useless. I knew I could do something, but I did it for her and me. Like I wasn't even thinking about what I was gonna do with the food. Like it came from a very selfish thing. It really did. It really did. I just wanted to help my mama, and then I had to call and ask for help, and then that is the spirit of Community Thanksgiving. It was out of my control, by year 2. You know, David Goodwin, he called Todd Citron. You know, he paid for all the turkeys like for the first 5 years. Once we got up to having to cook 100 turkeys and more, he's like, "Hey man, I'll pay for half." I'm like, "I don't blame you," you know. But
that's like your not to backtrack, but your sister every single year donates the amount of cases that the year of diapers that the diaper drive represents. So
she's screwed. Because Julian is not going to stop his diaper drive, bro. Oh, Lord. When he turned 20, she better start investing in diapers.
So Todd was smart to back out.
Oh, look, and I gave him the way out. I said, dude, I don't. He was like, so you still going to pay? He asked me, you still going to pay for all your term? I'm like, no, man, I'm going to get some other help. Just stop.
But yeah, you get folks like a Todd Citron and David Goodwin to come in, and they see the impact of it immediately, and they want to help, and this thing just starts kind of growing legs and growing over the years.
It was crazy. Mark Broussard, for the first 5 years, and people didn't even know that, but he would come in, and that's how he and I met. I want to say it was maybe year 3 of Community Thanksgiving. He rolls it because I would use JSP's prep. I would use their kitchen to store everything and prep everything. And he and Tony and Sheila Davern, they walk in with a whole trailer full of sweet potatoes. He would buy the sweet potatoes every year, you know. And that is what grew. That is how Community Thanksgiving grew into this animal. It was in year 3 or 4, Rotary Club stepped in. And I remember those years because this one, you know, when all these people started stepping in, it's like, all right, well, we got to keep adding numbers, you know. Why underutilize the people that are willing to help? But all that was falling on me, you know, having to go to the store. But here's me and Julian. He's in the back in his car seat. We going to Sam's, picking up all this stuff. And when the Rotary Club stepped in, it was one of the most amazing feelings because I would literally pull up in my truck. Every supply I thought we needed to make this work was in the truck. And I would just look at the Rotarians, and they're like, "So, John, what do you want us to do?" And I just look at them like, "Cook." You know, I'm cook. And they just took over, you know. It's not brain surgery. We're making rice dressing, sweet potatoes, green beans with sausage. And John Jenkins of Taco Sisters had stepped in by year 3 or 4 to handle the turkeys. And in the beginning, like, let's say, like, I could not cook 30 turkeys by myself. That would be insane. But let's say the first year John did it was 30 turkeys. And he was like, "Bring your ice chest. I got your turkeys ready." And I'd go, and he would cook all that like in a day, a few days before 2 days before Thanksgiving, or even I would go pick him up even the day before, and start carving up turkeys like crazy. Melissa Llewellyn, Bobby Frugier, they would help me. They were through the 705 group. They would come help me carve turkeys. We'd pan that up, put it in the coolers, and we'd serve it the next day. Well, once you start getting to 100, 200, this year we did, 375 turkeys? Like, that ain't nothing you're about to do in a day, you know?
Yeah.
Again, one of those Love of People initiatives in Community Thanksgiving, because of the talent of the people we have around, the love of the people we have around, and especially these business owners that have these business minds on how to scale and have the resources to scale. This year we did 5,000 meals. That was made possible because people like Chad Terrio of CBM Technology, he brought in his brain and his spreadsheet that really helped organize the process. Amanda Landry of House of Lume, one of the most talented people I've ever seen work a Post-it note that truly takes over 100 volunteers and puts them working. It looks like, you know, a Oompa Loompa factory or something. Like, you know, yeah. I mean, everybody falls in line.
It's a well-oiled machine.
Oh my God. And you know, and then like Ray Flores this year again with Industrial Safety Solutions, they stepped in, and Ray, the first year he involved himself with Community Thanksgiving was 3 years ago. He cut a check to help. The second year, he cut a check and brought his family to serve. And the third year, the man utilized his business to help create these 2,000 meals, and his staff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we have our base of operations in Sunset. have for the past several years, where all these people, these volunteers come in and help cook. People, organizations come in like Acadian Total Securities. They bring in their big grill truck and are cutting up and grilling the sausage. But then we created a second one thanks to Ray over in Youngsville, so that we can better serve that south part of the area.
It's just this year absolutely blew my mind, and then another big one that came through so heavy was Seth Citron and Crawdaddies. I didn't realize, again, I never worked in a restaurant and things. I just have a big heart and I got a lot of cool people around me, so we could pull it off. However, I didn't realize to do 5,000 meals, the infrastructure you would need, in order to pull this off. This is industrial type equipment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I ain't got it. I don't have it. But then when we start, as the problems would arise, like, hey, John, we're ordering, 800 pounds of sausage. Like, where we gonna put this? And then here comes Matt Chasson again with Grouse Room and had a deep freezer in the back. And we're able to start utilizing the deep freezers from the beginning.
Yeah, cutting up the turkeys weeks ahead of time. And
it's just, this year absolutely blew my mind, even with my QLS staff, utilizing my staff like Luke to help.
Who's running the cameras right now?
It's all about helping others help others. Like, this is what it's about. This is why you hear some of the same names coming up, because it's the way that Love of People operates. Whether you have an affinity to want to help raise diapers or help somebody with dementia or cook a turkey, it just doesn't matter, because the way we work together in this environment of Love of People, it's all about the purpose. And that's after 12 years of seeing us grow this organization. The way we work together, I believe, is what attracts people year after year. I believe that the people that we have come, I say it all the time, I don't care what religion, what race, what political background you come from, it has nothing to do with what our purpose as to what brought us here. So as long as we come together with that common purpose in mind, then watch out. And that's what I see now.
Yeah, and speaking of those names, can't talk about the 11th annual Community Thanksgiving without shouting out Poche's and Mr. Poche, and another process that got streamlined and bettered. And where I'm from in Covington, we call it dirty rice. Yeah. Here it's rice dressing. But my dad, I brought back a few meals. My parents came in for Community Thanksgiving this year and helped volunteer, and it was cool for them to see it with their eyes, what I've been involved with the past few years. But my dad, I brought back those meals, and my dad went to town on that rice.
Look, there's two things. Let me make a point. One, Love of People, I will not donate a stitch of clothes, a toy, or a meal that my kids wouldn't play with, wear on their backs, or eat at my table. We make sure that quality is provided, no exceptions. Okay. Damn, I said that too hard. I forgot my second point. And look, let me tell you, I have a cool network of people, man. Like, I don't consider myself to be no cool guy or anything, but I know a lot of cool people. But when Mr. Poche, an OG steps up and not only hands you the keys to Poche's, but also hands you his #1 rice dressing maker, his daughter, and he himself. This man on Thanksgiving morning, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, is cooking our rice dressing at Poche's. I will get caught in the weeds if I go down the road of how much headache. I mean, just the rice could have shut down Community Thanksgiving at any point. Yeah. At any point. Amanda would have a lot to say about that. I mean, there was one year we did, I forget how many, I guess it was maybe 1,500, 2,000 meals. And, we had just gotten to that many. I didn't know where the hell I was getting this rice from. So I started telling all the Rotarians and volunteers, like, bring rice pots. Man, we ended up with had to be better than 20
It's a little
rice
cookies.
pots.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And we in this large building and didn't think, well, we're about to start blowing breakers because all these rice pots. We couldn't even play the radio because it was so many rice pots.
Yeah, you probably could have flagged the federal government. Probably could have got flagged. What kind of domestic terrorism event is going on in here?
Like, dude, we were creating some serious radiation for sure. Something was going down with all these rice pots, and then from that, then it was, hey, let's rent a refrigerator cooler and start, getting pre-cooked rice from here, or oh man, Vic Ragsdale. He had become my rice warrior. Like Vic was trying to figure out so many different ways to cook pre-cooked rice. And then when they said we could go parboil rice, that's when I said, nah, hey, stop. I'll blow breakers, I'll do, but I am not putting parboiled rice in my rice dressing. It just ain't happening. But Vic stepped up, man, year after year. He and his family would cook rice like early that morning and bring rice to us. It had just become such a headache. The rice. Mm-hmm. And then when Mr. Poche stepped up and did that, between Mr. Poche and all that infrastructure, John Jenkins stepping up the way he did, Ray Flores stepping up the way he did, Chad Terrio still being willing to run this thing, there is no reason that Community Thanksgiving can't do what Chad and I set out to do, and that is to ensure that anybody who wants a meal or wants to eat with somebody and not alone on Thanksgiving Day in Acadiana, we will achieve that goal.
Went from 3,600 meals last year to 5,000 this year. Excited to see where it grows and gets even more next year. You can find out more about Community Thanksgiving year-round, loveofpeople.org dash communities or / community dash Thanksgiving, something like that. You'll find it on the website. Go over there. But let's wrap up here talking about, it's coming up for us next Saturday. By the time this is out, it'll already happen, but the Community Christmas Gumbo and Toy Drive. Now, this is more of a intimate, smaller event that is all because of kind of coming from the mantra of yours, never forget where you came from. Helping kids in the Sunset Grand Coteau area get a Christmas gift during the Christmas season, and delicious bowl of gumbo as well. Santa comes out. This thing has grown. What is it this year? And just tell folks a little bit more about what it means to you, Community Christmas Gumbo.
Community Christmas Gumbo. A lot of the things we did in Love of People. It starts out with my parents. A lot of it, and even my dad. My dad, he would do a Community Christmas Gumbo ever since I was a kid. And just to tell one quick funny story about it, but I've been 6'2", 260 pounds since I was like 13. So my dad would always make me play Santa Claus, and this is the year I met my wife. We've been together 22 years now, but I think I was like 20 years old, and I'd still played Santa every year. And my dad was like, "Hey son, you could play Santa this year?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, I just met this girl." I'm like, "I'm gonna tell her, I'm being Santa, And my dad was like, all right. Didn't tell me anything. And then the next day I go to my new girlfriend's house and I walk in her room and she's like, look what your daddy got me. And she holds up a Mrs. Claus costume. And I'm like, I'll be damned, But in that moment, I could hear God's voice tell me, son, when I call you to do something, you better listen, And that was when I was 20 years old, and I knew from that day on that I was going to utilize my talent, my time, and my resources to continue to bless others, And Community Christmas Gumbo is just that for me. It's that stake in the ground where this is me. I got nothing left to prove. And what I did was there was a suspicious corner on MLK in Sunset that was known for being a not so good corner, and my initial intention was to change the what people thought of that corner, and so much beauty came out of it, man. I built this decking for a backdrop. I had a big old pot of gumbo going, and right when we're, about to get going, a big monsoon comes down. It just it was raining so bad. And that was another miracle. Within 10 minutes, my Uncle Joe, my cousin Gerald, Dixon, they immediately, I called Mayor Charles. He was the mayor of Sunset at the time. And when I tell you, it felt like 3 minutes. We were packed up out of there, loaded up, and the gumbo was balling at the community center out of the rain, just like that. And I could tell that there was something so special about this. It was crazy. I get chills thinking about it. So just to explain. So that first year, it didn't go the way that I wanted it to go. But in all honesty, I felt like God kind of did that on purpose so that it could become what he wanted it to be. The next year, year 2, we did it. I'm like, all right, let's go behind my Uncle Joe's house. And I started having a couple of people reach out to me about wanting to do some community service. The 705 group was a big one. Melissa Llewellyn, Alan Green again, Matt Zombreaker. It was, all right, I'm just going to be very transparent with this.
All right.
So we on MLK in Sunset, and I have a lot of these white friends and business partners that I do things with out of Lafayette. And I had the opportunity, I tell people all the time I had the best of both worlds. During the school year, I went to St. Leo Seton. I was one of the few black guys over there during the school year, but then during the summer, I grew up at my grandma's house on MLK. So I had a very, what I believe, unique understanding of people, especially when you talk about different races. I knew we were the same because I was going to school with a bunch of white people, and I was chilling on MLK in Sunset. And I wanted to share that blessing with people. So now full circle, where I'm at with Love of People now I'm all about just sharing the blessing with others. I don't have to work as hard as I had to 10 years ago to make these things go. And I'm all about just sharing the blessing. So Community Christmas Gumbo for me it created a way for me to have people get out of your comfort zone, come into an underserved community, and actually be with the people. And it will not take you long to realize that we are the same. And when I tell you, it was Robbie Bergeron. 1 year, I tell everybody, look, I'll be there 3, 4 in the morning to start cooking the gumbo. And Robbie shows up to my uncle's house in the hood on MLK in Sunset, knocking on the door like 3 o'clock in the morning, like, hey guys, ready to start cooking gumbo. And I pull up like an hour and a half late, and he's got the gumbo going, but it had been his second year there. He had already felt that connectivity. And for me, man, just to be able to do that, to be able to, one, get people out of their comfort zones, but mainly to just strip away the preconceived, ignorant, wrong notions that people have on both sides of that aisle.
Sure.
Just because you're black and live in a rural area doesn't mean you don't have opportunity or connectivity. Just because you're white and upper middle class or whatever doesn't mean that you don't have any connectivity to an underserved area. Creating the opportunity for people to come together is what Community Christmas is about. Mm-hmm. And sharing in the spirit of love and beauty, and that's what it's become. And now, in all honesty, after Community Thanksgiving, I'm exhausted. So it was like 2 years ago, because I've had like Ronnie O'Quinn, Miss Margaret from Fit Girl, Coach Kurt Richard of Calm Sense, the Daverins with Celtic Bayou Festival. Let me tell you something. The businesses that have come together and taken over this thing, even though it's so special to me, it's probably why I was willing to let it go, because, people like myself, we tend to forget about ourselves. Mm-hmm. and we want to take care of others first. These business owners and these community leaders, they've stepped in and they've taken over Community Christmas Gumbo for me. And for me, that is the biggest gift that I've had given back to me for all this service, because I don't even think they realize how special Community Christmas Gumbo is to me. And without them, it wouldn't keep going.
And you guys can find out more information about it by reaching out to us. Once again, loveofpeople.org. Throughout the year, we can, if you want to give us gifts in March, we'll take a gift. We'll hold on to it till December. But to John's point, there's so many of these other organizations and businesses that are coming together because you have created this helping others help others mantra, and coming out the woodwork, or just right in front of your face. Sometimes people you look over your left shoulder, there's someone willing to help, and they come in and they help bring this thing and take the burden off of one person to do it all. And 2025 is, I think, going to be an astounding year for Love of People. We talked about some of these main initiatives that we do. There's all kinds of things throughout the year that pop up, little, kind of tiny little community events. The people who help you help them in some of their endeavors, their festivals, like a Celtic Bayou Festival. I know Luke and I were out there last year helping to put up the bar that they do. Fell down. Yeah, the wind knocked it down. That was heartbreaking. But there's so much going on, and I guess to not put words in your mouth, but I kind of echo things you said before. Bring your ass.
Yeah, BYA, baby.
Show up and
BYA.
See it for yourself.
Yeah, bring your ass.
Yeah, when you talk to our friends at Complete, we'll get that going. But look, if anyone's ever wanted to know what Love of People is, and for those who are listening or watching who are already supporters, take this hour little plus conversation, make them listen, make them watch, because you'll get an education into what Love of People does by what we just talked about. And I know you just talked for over an hour. You're probably getting hoarse and whatnot, but it wouldn't be an AcadianaCasts Presents episode without giving you the floor. So take a look at your single camera right here, John. We're going to wrap this up, put a nice little bow on it. It can be a word, a phrase. It could be a song lyric. It could be, an echo of what we just talked about. Whatever you want to do to wrap this episode up and impart any sort of wisdom on the internet land at large.
I just want to encourage people to get out of your comfort zone, get out of your way, identify your purpose, and what you choose to engage your time in, it'll be simply beautiful.
And bring your ass.
And bring your ass.
Hey, thanks for tuning into the show. Since you made it this far, might as well give us a like, a follow, a subscribe. Whatever you got to do to alert you that there's a new episode out. Look, it helps us grow, and it allows us to give you the content that, you deserve. If you want to be a sponsor, if you want to be a guest, if you just want to berate me, hey, all goes to the same place. info@AcadianaCasts.com. Email info@AcadianaCasts.com. And for more locally sourced podcasts, go to AcadianaCasts.com. Bye.